On today's adventure, I'm exploring one of the most scenic lakes in the Eastern Sierra, Convict Lake. But this place isn't just beautiful, it's packed with history and a wild backstory. Today, I'm in search of my own private beach lakeside to tell y'all the story and freeze my bones off. Then I'm heading to what be my favorite campsite I've ever stayed at, hidden away on public land filled with streams, beautiful meadows, and steaming hot springs. We're in for quite a treat today, y'all. Let's roll.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Rollin' with Bearman. I'm currently on the water's edge of the beautiful Convict Lake here in the Eastern Sierras, just about 30 minutes outside of the town of Mammoth. And it is a very warm day here in the mountains, so this is exactly where I want to be. Definitely going to be taking a dip. I want to find a little beach to post up on, somewhere where I can lay out my towel that isn't quite as rocky. I think I'm gonna try to find a spot right over there, be a little sheltered from the very little breeze that there is. It is just a perfect day, guys. I mean, look at that, not a single cloud in the sky, warm weather, sun's out. Well, I guess that's a given if there's no clouds in the sky that the sun is out, but. Oh, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm Bearman, me and the Longship, aka my 2005 Toyota Sequoia, back at the parking lot right now. We go car camping, adventuring, in beautiful, remote locations just like this. I'm very happy to have you along on today's adventure. Anyways, without further ado, let's go find a spot and let's get posted. This could be a good little spot here, this little cove. Let's keep moving for now though. All right, I'm gonna scope out these beaches along this tree line here. Lots of, what is this, pollen, I guess? We're gonna go with that. Lots of pollen falling. Bar, people fishing and whatnot. Oh, just an absolutely perfect lake day, guys. And it looks like there's a little creek crossing here. Water's chilly, and the water is definitely flowing a lot more than the last time I was here, which makes sense. There wasn't as much snow melting. It all checks out according to my scientific calculations. Worry not. I'm just gonna walk along the water's edge and look from here, better view. Ooh, maybe this spot right here. Ooh, yeah, I think this is all me, guys. I'm copping. Oh, look. Another one of these forts. Let me just peek around this corner real quick. Let's post up here for now. Eat salami Sammy #1 of 2. Probably not gonna stop at 2 for the day, but we'll see. Look at the homie. Oi. Here we are. Now this is nice. I would guess 45, 50 degree water. All right, y'all. Got my accidental transgender board shorts on. If you didn't hear the story in last video about these board shorts, go check it out. Give you a chuckle. Let's hope, I don't know. I'm not even gonna go there. Oh, these float too, that's nice. Yeah, I would say about 45, maybe even lower. Adjust from 45 to 50 to 40 to 45. Definitely a little chilly. I want to get my head underneath though. Gotta take the mic off.
It is refreshing.
So nice. I love this shit, guys. Feeling good to be back, and I'm feeling confident about the future. Oh, and we just passed 1,000 subscribers. Well, not just. We passed 1,000 while I was on my break, but I didn't make an announcement because I was on a break. But we will definitely do a special video to celebrate 1,000 subs. This will be the first adventure back, so we'll keep it separate. Do a whole new adventure for that. I don't know if you'll be able to see through the water here, but it drops off very quickly. Very steep. You know, you can see the rocks here and you see how they just drop right off. I wonder how deep Convict Lake gets. So there were a few signs at the very start of the trail on the other side of the lake explaining how this whole area was created. I want to get into a little bit of that in a little bit, not only how these mountains were formed and all the surrounding mountains around it, with the lake included, but also how the name Convict Lake came about to be. It's a pretty interesting story. Bruh. This group of older women just plopped right next to me. Literally right next to me. I know it's a public place, but you can definitely find a spot a little further away from me. Like they were sitting on this log right here that is literally like 4 feet away from me. But any hot babes, disregard that comment. Feel free to sit right next to me. And I'll sit here the whole time and won't say a word to ya. But anyways, as promised, let's get into a little bit of the lore surrounding Convict Lake. Alright, Macon Mountains. The story of the mountains around you began 500 million years ago, when sand and gravel washed off an ancient continent and built up in layers beneath a vast ocean. So this all used to be underwater, in the ocean. And I mean, you see the peaks of the mountains way up there. Changed by extreme heat and pressure, most of these rocks have eroded away, but some remain. Embedded within them are fossils of organisms that lived in the ancient sea and are some of the oldest rocks in the Sierra Nevada mountains. The collision of tectonic plates, faulting, and the intrusion of granite into sedimentary rock led to distorted rocks, seen here on Mount Laurel. The Paiute word for mountains is Kaiba. Love me some natives. More than 70 million years ago, the Sierra Nevada was a range of volcanoes rising at the edge of a shallow sea. Over time, most of the volcanic landscape eroded away, but the last remnants of these rocks are visible at Convict Lake. Erupting through and transforming the sedimentary rock, a string of volcanoes rose at the edge of a shallow sea 70 million years ago. Okay, that's what we just read. Dang, they screwed up on the sign. Better go report that. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Spoke with the manager. They're on it. Massive faults along the Owens Valley separate the Sierra from the White Mountains and force the eastern face of the Sierra to rise steeply. Today, uplift continues, fighting a battle with the forces of erosion that seek to reduce these mountains to rubble. I always think about what places will look like in, say, 70 million years from now or 500 million years from now. I mean, 500 million years ago, we were at the bottom of the ocean, so... And this part of the sign is a little bit worn away. I'm going to try to read it as best I can. Long ago, during the Cretaceous something, I assume it says Cretaceous period or something like that, rocks surrounding Convict Lake lay deep underground. The Sierra Nevada was a range of volcanoes, like the Andes or Cascades, rising above the ancestral Pacific Ocean. So maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe these Sierra mountain faces were like on the edge of the ocean. The coastline also marked the boundary between two converging tectonic plates. The oceanic plate at bottom left was subducted beneath the more buoyant continental crust, releasing blobs of rising magma into the crust that slowly cooled and crystallized into today's granite rocks. How do we figure that out? Like, what? Scientists just pop out here? Like, what's the next step? Dig some rocks up and then what? Like, how do you figure that out? Very fascinating to me. But that is the story of how Convict Lake and the surrounding mountains came to be. And now, for the more interesting, fun part, spirits and shootouts, this one is called. The Paiute Indians called this lake Wotsunupal, lake in a dent in the ground, is what that means. Or Tuvai Maui, okay, I got this. Tuvai Mawevi, fuck, Tuvai Maui. Tuvai Maui or Tuvai Maui. Man, I told you I'd get it. That means lake that follows the enemy. Stories tell how Hainanu, a Paiute boy, disrespected the lake and challenged its power. The lake chased him up into the mountains, and Hainanu escaped the high water only by jumping through the roof of the sky. Oh, that's smart. I wouldn't think to do that. The Paiute Indians believe Convict Lake, like all other high alpine lakes, to be places of great power that must be treated with respect. Which kind of ties into what I was talking about on yesterday's adventure, when we were looking out across that meadow with the Sierra Mountains in the background. I was talking about how, it seems to be something deeper to life, or, some kind of, I don't know if energy is the right word, and I feel like you can really feel it when you're out here, surrounded by nothing but nature. And I feel like today, as a society, we have really kind of drifted from that connection with it. And I think the Native Americans really were dialed in with it. We're really dialed in with that connection to the land, connection to the heavens, if you want to call it, whatever it may be. And I mean, it's very evident in the history or the lore of the Native Americans, just like this, the lake being very powerful and something that has to be respected. You can feel the energy of the places that you're at. And I know that sounds very out there and hippie and whatnot, but I don't know. I'm not trying to lecture you guys or nothing or preach to y'all, but something to think about. It's fun to get deep sometimes and question everything. Anyways, back to the story. The lake received its current name after a dramatic shootout in September 1871 after a group of 29 broke out of the state penitentiary in Carson City, Nevada. 6 made it to this site more than 200 miles away. Tracked here by a posse, the convicts killed Robert Morrison, the county sheriff, and Mono Jim, a Paiute Indian guide. It says here, a posse of men from Aurora, Nevada set out to capture convicts who had escaped from the Carson City Penitentiary in 1871, scoring a $500 reward. Scoring a $500 reward, 2 men or 3, accounts differ, instead were murdered by the convicts. Now that is crazy to think about. Imagine escaping the jail with your boys, 28 of your best boys. You travel 200 miles up into the Sierra Nevada mountains, and you make it to this spot. Probably thought they had it made until the squad that was sent to capture him came. And that's where the shootout must have occurred. Just crazy to think about. I mean, such a peaceful area today, but about 150 years ago was the scene of a shootout from a prison break. The world is just a fascinating place, and we're just here for a little section of it. Gotta enjoy it while we can. But that is the lore of Convict Lake. I'm gonna get packed up and let's start heading back to the longship. It is 3 o'clock, almost on the dot. All right, let's get rolling. Camera's probably gonna die too, so I'll just catch you back at the longship. Peace. Sheesh. Look at those mountains. I wonder if there's like climbing routes through there too, or if it's just pretty much untouched by humans. I also don't think there's been one time where I've said, I'll just catch you guys back at the longship, where the next clip is actually me back at the longship. I feel like 10 times out of 10, I always pick the camera back up to say something. But hey, I like talking to you guys. You guys are my only companions on this trip, so you're just gonna have to put up with me talking to you. Sorry. So these are the rest of the mountains that were covered behind us. And I think if I'm understanding the story right, the coastline went right up, the coastline of the ocean, not of just this lake, but of the ocean, went right up against these huge mountains. And then over millions and millions of years, all the rest happened. I don't know. Science with Bear Man. Ragnar. Skull. Alright, y'all. Made it back to the longship. Whew, what a beautiful day, guys. I can't get over it. But unless anything noteworthy or interesting happens, I will probably catch you guys once we get to our campsite tonight. And as always, let's roll. Alright, y'all, I hope the camera doesn't die, but I have a little pull-off little alcove right here. I mean, we're pretty far from anything right now. So I think we're gonna call this home for the night. And look at the mountains, guys. Look how crazy that looks. Sheesh. I hope the camera picks up just how beautiful that is. I'll have to throw some pictures up if it doesn't. But look around. It's one of those moments. Just gives you that natural perky feeling. Geesh, I could just look at this for hours, guys. Actually, I probably couldn't, being realistic. But I could look at this for like 30 minutes. Like, this is just too incredible to just be like, I don't know. What the? Is that a seagull? It's a seabird. What the hell? That's a freaking seagull. There's a lake, but I thought seagulls were just ocean birds. What the? Ocean bird. This is just crazy. It's literally like an indescribable feeling. That's why I just call it a natural perky. A nature perky. I mean, we're in just the high mountains right now, and there's just like this meadow. This huge meadow in the middle of the mountains. With streams flowing through it, people fishing on the streams, hot springs, and just surrounded by these ginormous mountains. Every which way you look. Man, I love the mountains. I could talk about this for hours, guys, but I won't. I got a bag of chips to eat for my dinner because I do not feel like cooking, of course. All right. This might be kind of gay, but I want to put you guys on. To get the nature perky feeling, this is what I do. You can try it if you want. Maybe next time you're out in nature, you'll remember and you'll give it a shot. But what I do, God, again, this sounds like this is so gay, but again, for you guys, I'll do it. So I look out onto the mountains, in this case, and just take a deep breath and just really pay attention to the breath. I like to pay attention to where I'm feeling it most when you breathe in. For me, I feel it most like exiting and entering my throat. Pause. Oh God. Okay, back to, gotta lock in. You really gotta lock in. So you pay attention to where you feel it most. Maybe it's coming in through your nostrils or through your mouth. Maybe in your lungs, when your lungs fill up. Wherever you feel it most, focus on that. But not too hard, just like notice it. Notice where you feel it most while you look out onto the mountains. The sunset in the back, the sun rays coming through the mountains, into the valley, over the meadow. And just try to let your mind get to a spot where it's just here. where you forget everything else and you're just here. Just ego death yourself and just take it all in and just experience. And you can like feel the energy. I don't know, I don't like the word energy, but for lack of a better word, we're gonna go with that. But you can feel like something like not enter you, but it's so indescribable. And you can use it wherever you're at, really. Even if you're not in nature. You know, whenever you have bad days, everyone's got ups and downs. Doing this really helps. You know, when you get that kind of feeling like, oh, I just want to forget everything and just have a few brews. This kind of like provides a similar escape. But I mean, hey, sometimes you just need a few brews, you know what I'm saying? Or like when I'm out here, it just like really deepens the experience. When you look back on these memories and you remember these places that you're in, you remember like the feelings that they give you. And I don't know, it's just really cool. I know this probably sounds so crazy to you guys, but hey, maybe some of you guys get me, let me know. But hey, go out and try, maybe one day you'll be like, oh, this is what Bearman was talking about. Or maybe it's just me and I'm crazy. Who knows? We gonna keep doing it. All right, let's get camp set up for the night. I don't think I've ever showed you guys how I get set up either. But grab this piece, because you see right now, I'll give you guys a mini tour just because you guys are my special homies watching the first video back. But this is what it looks like when it's in like couch mode, chill mode I call it. And then to turn it into bed mode, there's all these cubbies and everything too, but I'll show you guys that on the main video. And then to turn it into bed mode, I grab this piece, which I store behind the couch. I throw it over here. And then I grab this piece, which is also stored behind the couch. And I throw this here. And then I grab the couch and we pull her out, which is rare for me. Flip this. Oh, see, that window shade fell. And voila, bed mode. Now you're probably like, what the? So, in the original build that we followed, shout out Nathaniel Wise, check out the link in the description of the Longship build video to see his build. I forgot to account for the fact that we decided to keep in this side panel, because we took out the side panel here, and in his build, he doesn't keep it in, he takes it out. And I forgot to account for that, so the size of the mattress does not fit. So when I originally got it, I was like, oh shoot, let me just try it out. If not, I can return it. And after the first night of sleeping on it, so damn comfortable, guys. I mean, I'm thinking about, you know what, screw it. I'm probably just gonna end up keeping it because it looks really good when it's in couch mode too. It's comfortable to lounge on and whatnot. And again, I'll give you guys a full detailed video someday soon, where I'll show you all the nooks and crannies and all the fun stuff. Oh, and one thing I wanted to mention is there's a lot of parts that I cut out of these videos. I mean, I just love like rambling on and talking to you guys and recording every part of the adventure. So then when I go to edit, I end up with like an hour-long video or like a 40-minute long video. I'm like, that's too long. So I trim it down to like 20, 25, 30 minutes if it's a lot. I mean, I'm torn because when I'm editing the video, I hate cutting out these certain parts to trim it down to 20 minutes because there's like a lot of fun parts that I feel like I'm cutting out, but I just pick and choose the best parts to put into the 20. But just let me know if you have any thoughts, if you like the 20 minutes or if you would prefer a longer video, like a 40-minute, 45-minute, even up to an hour. I don't know. Let me know. Any thoughts? All right, I'm gonna finish my chip dinner and then let's get to bed once the sun goes fully down. Just enjoy the sunset now. All right, y'all, just had salami Sammy number 3 of the day, right? Yeah, number 3 of the day. Told you there'd be another one, but anyways, I'm about to get hunkered down for the night and get to bed. It's crazy that it's still kind of light out, even though it is
9:15 p.m. But let's hope for a peaceful, good night's sleep tonight. No disruptions. Fingers crossed. And I will see you guys in the morning. Good night, y'all.
Oh, big yawn. Good job, Bear Man. 8:50. I slept in again. I wasn't able to get to sleep last night, not for any reason of discomfort. I was just so wide awake for some reason. I just could not fall asleep. Eventually, I just opened the door and just started looking up at the stars. And man, incredible, the sky from here. I should have got the camera out, to be honest, but I just wasn't thinking about it late at night. First things first, I want to get some coffee in me, wake up for the day. And again, this is another one of those moments where I'm probably not going to include much of the morning footage, even though I'm recording all morning, just because I feel like at this point the adventure's probably going to have run kind of long, so a lot of this will probably end up trimming out, even though, you know, we're up actively doing stuff. Well, not right now, but when I'm making my coffee and whatnot. Get some of that steam up into my nose, guys. My nose has been so dry. So see, it's really just a little tea bag thing. Throw it in your mug, and then we pour it over and try not to spill on my hand. You gotta dunk it a few times. Whew. Cheers. But anyways, that is a wrap on the Mammoth adventure. First one back, very happy to be back, and I'm very excited for what the future has to hold with the channel. As always, I appreciate the heck out of y'all for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like, bell, go drop a comment, all the good stuff, but hey, only if you want to. Peace! And I will catch you on the next adventure. Peace!
God, bless this cocaine to give me the gas to beat this demon. Ah!